Hey everyone, Sawmill Charlie. Well, welcome to another Friday night bee chat. I'll go ahead and drop the link in the thing. Let everybody come on in. Hopefully everybody had a great week. And all. Hey, there's Tom, and we got Jeremy, Kathy, and we got Eric, and we got Joey. There's Bill. And who else we got in here? Hey, Eddie. We got Keith. Well, anyway, the link is pinned. Where's Mr. Bill? He's in, sitting in the easy chair. I can't hear you. Here comes Joey.
Hey,
Hey,
how are y'all?
good. Test your mic, Bill. I can't hear you. Hey, George.
Hey, Eric.
Hale Jr. Oh, how's things down in Louisiana?
Wet. It's been raining for 2 or 3 days now. Now it's
Really?
turning cool.
Hey, Dennis. Really?
Yeah, we needed the rain. It's been drying up. Our nectar flow just almost just nothing right now.
Can you hear me yet, Charlie?
Yeah, now I can.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, we got about 3/4 of an inch of rain Wednesday night here, which is pretty good for us. And then we're supposed to rain maybe tonight. I don't think it's good. It might be a shower, if anything.
It's just been a light shower all day long,
Hmm.
and during the night too.
Hmm.
And it stopped. They said it was going to stop for about 2 hours yesterday. It stopped for about 4, and then it really come down for a while to catch up.
Hmm. Hey, Dottie. Yeah, it was, it's done good for our hay fields there. And locust bloomed here about, I guess, a day or so ago. It started blooming. And at least I could, and now I'm riding down the road, you can see it blooming, hanging down like a great group of grapes. And then prior to that, about a week prior to that, was some cherry trees, kind of like a long, slender finger, but it's white, in diameter like a cigar and all that stuff. And hey, Mark. Hey, Dennis. Russell. So that's in bloom. I'll have to say that our locust is probably at least 2 weeks early. It's around the middle of May and all that. So I don't know what that is. And it's been, today was, well, it got up to about probably 65, 68 degrees at the most. At least that's what my thermometer said on the outside of the house, whether it's accurate or not. And I don't know, it's just been cold. And it said it was supposed to high up today was 62, but um, I don't know. It just it felt warmer today, and mm,
Yeah, it rained here most of the weekend, just light drizzle and slight showers, but it rained and today it got warm and I got two swarms on two fence posts.
hmm. Now it didn't rain over the weekend. Let's see, what did it do here? It was cold. Did it rain over the weekend? Maybe it maybe it did rain some, but it didn't rain a tremendous amount. And so I don't know. This weekend is supposed to be in the 60s, and um, and then Monday and Tuesday is supposed to be in 70s and 80s. Then it's going to rain again in the middle of the week, which is fine. So I'm going to try to get out there tomorrow afternoon while it's midday and go through the Demarys, pull some brood up, and then come back Sunday morning and make up a cell builder. And I'm going to do 5/5 medium frames, 5/5, so 10 frames of brood with bees in there.
Fading in and out, Charlie.
Huh? What?
You were fading
hearing
in and
you
out.
good.
You were in and out.
I was?
Maybe
I was
it's me.
hearing you.
Oh, you're fine. I can hear you, Bill.
Yeah,
How y'all doing?
I don't know.
Hey, Eddie.
Hey, Eddie.
So that's my plans for the weekend. I did check the hives I think it was last Thursday. Like you said, Bill, I think it rained last Friday night, I
Yep.
believe.
And then it rained Saturday morning, Friday night, Saturday morning, and then Saturday night into Sunday morning. And it rained early this morning because when I got up, the deck was wet and the ground was damp. It wasn't wet, but it was damp. So we did
Yeah.
have some sort of rain overnight.
Yeah. Well, I went out there Thursday, I guess it was, of last week, and I checked about 5 of the hives as far as the I checked for honey supers basically, and I pulled 1 or 2 of the middle frames out, and it had about that much nectar in that frame, and the rest of them you kind of see that they were just empty. So I don't think I'm filled up by no means on one super yet, but we've had, like you said, 3 or 4 days in a row of no fly days. It's either windy and cold or rainy, and they were flying today. And it's been decent weather. Well, Wednesday night it rained all night. That was 3/4 of an inch, a little bit better than 3/4 of an inch. And then today's Friday. Thursday was decent. Today was good. It was bright and sunny and pretty, and actually warm. And so anyway, I'm going to check the supers, see if they need anything. I don't think so. I've already pulled out some more supers out of the freezer, let them thaw out. And I had hive number 2 down there, which was more or less a dead out. Well, it wasn't a dead out, but I pinched a queen, and it had 3 or 4 frames of brood in there. And I put a queen in there, and they built up really nice. So I have to have some brood comb, and I put a box of drawn brood comb on top of them. Looked like she was trying to find a place to lay and that kind of thing. And other than that, that's pretty much all I've done. I haven't really added anything to them. Some of them nukes, I added some brood or some semi-drawn comb out. One of them, it really got drawn comb, and the other one's just got foundation with a little bit of wax on there. So maybe this honey coming in, that they'll stir them up to pull me some wax on that. And that's pretty much the bee report. Been mowing some grass around them and all. And that's about it. So you got some swarms on the fence post, Bill?
Yeah, I got 2 swarms, one on each fence post. So I don't know if it was my Nell hives that swarmed or if it was one or 2 of the others that swarmed. So I'll find out in the morning.
Yeah, I talked to let's see, the young guy that I'm helping out, his father, this afternoon. He says he thinks one of the hives that we didn't take any queen, take a nuke out of. He says he feels it swarmed. It was down. It was hanging on the ground on a branch. It was laying on the ground. That's
Yep.
how heavy it was. And he got it and put it in a box, put it in a 10 frame deep box. I said, well, fine, we can sell that too. And I got to go over there maybe Sunday. And I think he's got 2 or 3 more boxes he can sell. Pretty much will finish him up completely, selling everything out and all. I don't know what the rest of the bees are going to have enough make a queen cell with them or not.
I don't know. It's that time of year.
Yeah, I don't know whether they got enough open brood or eggs. I know I left some frames that had eggs in it. I said, well, they can make cells out of these. I had one. I was trying to find a queen, could not find it, and there was all kinds of really super size queen cells in there. And I said, man, we could spread these around.
Yep.
But it just got to the end of the day, and I was tired, and we couldn't find the queens. And I'm like, all right, well, see y'all later. I'm going home.
Yeah. Yeah, we had last night, it got down in the low 30s here last night. Supposed to be in about the same tonight. And then tomorrow night, they changed forecast a little bit. They said 34 to 38, but you never know.
Yeah, and I've looked at the darn weather report here, like for the month, I guess you would say. And it ain't going to be all that hot in May, I don't think. You're going to be, I'm looking at it right now. So it's most of the nights are going to be in the 50s and 60s at night, but not super. Well, there's some 70s and closer to the end of the month.
Yeah.
And all that. But
I was looking at the extended forecast, and they're saying that there's supposed to be a super El Nino coming up out of the Pacific, and the cyclone season on the West Coast is going to be worse this year than it was last year. And the eastern United States, once it gets over this way, it's going to be cooler, below normal temperatures. And the hurricane season here is supposed to be softer.
Yay.
So, but it's going to be cooler, below normal temperatures. So anything could happen. It's been a weird year.
so far, it's been one of them, like last year about grafting and all that stuff. It's been cold.
Yep.
April used to be hot. As soon as 1st of April hit, it used to be warm like summer.
Yep.
Now it seems like it takes you till May to get anything, any kind of warmth
Yeah.
consistently and all that. And I don't know it. But then I got to thinking about it there, complaining about 60 degrees, but then you got Ian up there and they're talking about, well, it got up to 0, which is 32 degrees Fahrenheit. And it may be a +5 or 6, which would be in the 40s. And I'm like, here we're at the 60s. Well, then I should be able to do something when it comes to cells and grafting and all that stuff. If they can get something done up there in them kind of temperatures, we're just not used to working in that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I guess it's a way of the world now. We're just going to have to get used to it.
Yeah. That's what it amounts to.
I did a round of grafting this year in the 30s. I didn't expect much, but I had great takes. I was kind of shocked.
Hey, Clay. Really?
Yeah.
Now, is it 30s during the daytime or night?
No, at nighttime.
Okay.
Yeah, the lows was in the 30s. I mean, it was getting back up to like 60s during the day. But I did have a strange thing happen in a bank last weekend. As you all know, I stopped letting them emerge in the incubator because it became a pain in the butt. And I started putting them in a bank to emerge. And that's worked really well until last weekend, where the queens were emerging on Sunday. And I went on Monday to go and cage them up. I didn't really need any more. I'd handed out a whole bunch of field day anyway. But all but 6 of them were dead. The bees weren't taking care of them in the bank. That bank's done fine until this week. I figured maybe a virgin had gotten out or something in there, and they became loyal to her. I went all through it. I couldn't find one up there above the queen excluder. I don't really know what happened, so I tore that bank down. I'm going to start another one actually tomorrow to go put some cells in. I'm going to keep some backup ones in the incubator to emerge in case it happens again.
How do you set up for a bank? Because somebody was asking me about that the other day, and I just told them I never have, so I don't know.
Well, what I did might not be the right way to do it, but it made sense to me. I just took a really strong double deep. I grabbed 2 frames of open brood and put a queen excluder on top of the double deep, put a third box on top, put those 2 frames of open brood in the top and some frames of foundation, and drop my bank frames in there. And that's worked for like 6 weeks. Great.
That's exactly what I thought you should do.
Yeah,
I didn't know.
That's the right way to do it, Eddie.
Yeah, Doug just set up here in Saskatchewan. It was 21C, which is basically 70 degrees.
Yeah.
So 69.8, but I call it 70. So they're getting up there warm too. Hey, Billy Lee. So you're still getting what, the cells from the college over there?
The bee lab, we'll get one more batch later on the season. Kent's actually supposed to talk to Frank, I guess this coming week, to try to see when the latest he's doing it, and we might try to do some late season, like after the flow splits, if that works out. If it doesn't, we might not get any more from them this year. I don't really know. It just depends on what their schedule's like if they're doing it when it works for us. I guess we'll see. But the bank thing, I don't really know. Can't figure out what happened. Can't wrap my head around it. But like I said, I took that bank apart and I just took the box off and put a honey.
Now, are you banking virgins or mated?
Yeah, virgin queens, and just for like a day or two. Instead of having to watch them in the incubator all night, I'm just going and putting them in a bank the night before or the day before they're supposed to emerge, and then coming and getting them the day after they emerge. So
yeah, I did that last year where I pulled those cells out of that incubator about a day and a half before they emerge. And then I had them in them easy peasy cages on that frame rail, and then stuck them back in. We're actually the cell builder. And they were in there, I had bad weather or whatever. And you could leave them in there for about a week, and actually that hardens their exoskeleton and all that other stuff. And, but that's where I had it. After that's my downfall, was the fact that trying to figure out how to introduce them to a hive. And I think it's back like you said, and like what I've read, is put them in a small nuke. You can do a virgin on a small hive, but they just won't go in a great big established hive.
It's definitely harder to get a big hive to accept a virgin. I just think it's because there's no foragers. When you build a small nuke and move it aside, you don't have any foragers in there, and the population is lower too. I think that does help.
Hey, Steve, good to see you, buddy. Yeah, tonight begins the routine of listening to Sawmill Charlie and packing up the truck for a weekend for market.
Beekeeping, yeah. I put attendants in the cages when I cage them up, but I don't put bees in the roller cages when they're going to emerge.
Right. Well, I got them easy peasy cages, and that's what's nice about them is that JZBZ cell cup, those flanges, it snaps into those 2 little ears up on top there, and they hold them. They won't fall out. They fit in his own little tray, and I think they can be accessed on both sides through the screen. And as soon as they hatch out, bees are right on them, feeding them, taking care of them.
And I might move to those next year. I already had 100 or so roller cages. So I just kind of
Yeah,
rigged
that's
up some
fine. Yeah.
frames with some fishing line to hold the roller cages, and then gravity holds the cups in. I've had 2 get out since I've been doing it, and that's not that bad. The weird thing was, they up until this past week, they take care of them in the bank, but when the 2 got out, they balled them and killed them in the bank, which I don't really understand. They took care of them when they're in the cages. When they got out, they killed them. I thought
Yeah,
that was
but
very strange.
I've heard that where you'll have a not so much you'll have a mated queen, and they'll sit there and feed, and as soon as you release her, and they're jumping on her to kill her. I don't know. I don't get it. But
Sometimes we'll never know why the bees do some of the things they do.
You're right about
no,
that.
yeah, it's like I say, I want to experiment about making everybody smell the same with either peppermint oil or vanilla oil. And I now when it comes to vanilla extract, you just buy it off like the supermarket
Yeah.
shelf, right, Bill? It's the same stuff from Loran oils or whatever else, I would think. And all that.
Liz Walsh at the Bee Lab, she uses that. She sprays them with vanilla extract and water to mask them.
Yeah, it all the old timers told me, and it makes everybody smell the same. And time to get done licking each other to like each other. So
Yeah, I haven't done the vanilla thing, but I've done Honey Be Healthy and sugar syrup, and it seems to work too.
I think it's the same thing. It's a
Same
smell. It's what you're masking. They all smell the same, so they all think they're related to each other, and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I know several people use that Honey Be Healthy for that. They'll use direct release, putting them in there.
Yeah, Mark here's talking about hopelessly queenless colony. Yeah, that's where you would have a colony. Let's say 6. You'd have a queenless colony of 6 to 7 days old. Go back in, shake all the bees off, cut out all the queen cells, and then put your queen in there. As far as a mated queen, and your success rate will go really high.
With young bees.
Huh?
Hopelessly queenless with young bees.
Young bees,
Yeah.
right. It's a lot better to make something up and move it off the original location, so you don't have all the foragers in there.
Yep.
So what you're saying is bring the brood above the queen excluder, let the nurse bees come up, cluster around all that brood, and then set it off in its own hive.
Yeah, that works really well.
Well, that was like I made these 4 nukes up out of the brood, and I did that where I brought the brood above, and it came back the next day or whenever it was, and the bees were packed on them brood frames, and I put them in them boxes, and I had better success of the bees staying in the box than I've had in the past, where a lot of times I think I rush it, where I'll come back in a half an hour or an hour, and there's plenty of bees on there. But it just seems like if you wait till the next day and then pull that stuff up out of there in the morning, it works better. They seem like they got the right kind of bees in there to me, I guess. Hey, Lisa.
We had our field day this past week, and I had somebody set up. They wanted me to do examples of the making splits with a queen cell, a virgin, and a mated queen. I'm like, it's all the same, but they wanted 3 examples. So some people went and made 3 nukes up the week before for me, and so I did demonstration. People were kind of shocked at how many queen cells there were to knock down. I mean, there was one frame that had 20 something cells on it. And you got to shake them off because some of them,
Gotta do that.
you can barely see.
They'll be if it's a wooden frame, they'll be up in that corner in between where they got a gap between the end bar, and you got to kind of get in there and hook it and get it out of there.
Yeah,
and all that stuff, and all that. But So now with the Virgin, did you put her in there with a cage with a
Yeah,
tent?
I used the cage for for both of them. One was a cell, and I even used a cell protector, which I told everybody what I was doing. The cell protector is really not necessary in that situation, but the president wanted
I
me to
used to
demonstrate
sell.
with it.
I found the self protectors not to fit the cell very well. Number one, and number two, I don't see. I don't see. I mean, I guess they're supposedly you're not going to chew them down or something.
Yeah, so if you make the split and try to drop a cell in really quick, it will help some. Because a lot of times they do try to chew in from the side, and that's the only time I really would suggest using it. If you're gonna make a split, and then you're gonna drop cells the next day, I think it might be decent idea to use the cell protectors. Uh, but if you're waiting and knocking down the cells that are there, I don't think it really matters. Or if you're making a split and putting the cell in straight away, that's another time you probably use it.
I always made sure when I took my cell, I would push it in. A lot of people put it right in between, in the top of the bars and let those flanges hold it there in midair. But I always was told or whatever is to put it in on the frame where the brood's at. So if it gets cold that night and the bees cluster around that brood, that they'll be clustering around that cell to keep it warm too.
Yeah, I put it in the brood if it's still a time when we can get cool. And if it's in the summer here and hot, then I just kind of set it at top between the top bars.
Uh-huh.
I've never had a problem with one not emerging. But like I said, if it's getting like tonight, we're going to get down to 46 here, which is kind of shocking this time of year. I don't know what's going on. I would put it in the brood if I was putting one in. I wouldn't put it just between the top bars.
Kevin, Bill's right there.
Here. What's that?
Kevin 80 wants to know where Bill's at. And I said, well, Bill's right on the screen there.
Yep. I'm in Woodstock, Virginia.
He's just not in front of his regular computer.
Yeah.
And you don't have the background. That's I guess is what it is.
Yeah, I'm sitting here with my foot propped up.
And you got, what are you doing? Looking at a computer screen, Bill, or are you up on the big
My
TV?
laptop.
Your laptop?
Where you getting 46 from, Eddie?
That's where it looked like this morning when I checked it in Folsom.
Oh,
Is it changed?
well, it's 56 right now, and that's the coldest I'm getting is like 54, 53. I'm sorry.
Maybe
53.
the forecast has changed. This morning when I looked at it, the low was 46 tonight.
Okay.
Or in the morning, I should say.
It still might get there because this thing is never right.
So
I'm getting an early winter.
So Kevin
Yeah,
80.
the Weather Channel app still telling me 46.
Yeah. So shout out to Kevin 80. Give us an update on your situation. I guess you're all out of California now, and you got bees down in Louisiana and Mississippi, I guess, doing Queens at this time. Anything other exciting things that you're doing with the bees or whatever in your business? And if you want to, you can come on with us too. If you got a computer and with a camera on it. So that's what I'm going to be doing. Like I say, going to try to, I won't be grafting, but I'll try to get that builder up and running. I'm going to try to graft, I think on Tuesday was like normally, that's my day. I normally like to graft. It marches, everything marches out better for me on that.
That's actually my graft day too. It's Tuesdays. Graft on Tuesdays, emerge on Monday. I ship on Tuesdays also.
Well, mine's about, you graft on a Tuesday, I think it is, and then it kind of falls on the weekend type of thing.
Yeah, this should emerge on Sunday if you graft on Tuesday.
On a Saturday, is it?
Sunday.
Sunday.
On Sunday, yeah. Because if I graft on Tuesday, that's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Sunday's my 6th day, so then I can pull them out and put them in the incubator. I might even, maybe it was Monday where I was doing everything on a Saturday. Not sure. But anyway, it's kind of the way I have to sit there and play with the numbers and all that. And then it also how far when it marches around to when it's getting ready to they're ready to pull them out of the incubator and put them in the cell builders or not the cell builders, but the mating boxes.
Oh,
So you still selling queens, Eddie?
yeah.
No. I figured all that'd be wrapped up by now.
No,
It's
a
still
lot of places are just getting ready for them. I mean, down here we're kind of wrapped up with trying to get stuff made, but other parts of the country they're just getting rolling.
well, can't you do probably queens all the way up to let's say July or September or whatever?
Yeah, it's just harder to get them mated. And most people already want to have them laying and being ready for the honey flow down here. I mean, our tallow is really close. I was shocked.
Yeah.
Yes, yesterday I saw a couple of trees where it was already dropped and laying down in Folsom.
Yeah, I've seen. Yeah, I think it was Bruce's bees was looking at the tallows, getting ready to. It showed little sprouts out and all that. Hey, Brad, and hey, Randy.
I got to get some honey pulled before that happens here.
It's about to happen.
I got boxes full of honey. It just ain't. Last time I looked, I had 3 or 4 frames that was capped, but I had a bunch of them full but not capped. But that early spring, I may just go pulling it and drying it inside here.
I didn't get much early stuff. The privet acted like it was going to be good, and then it just kind of flopped on me.
I don't know where it come from, but I got a lot up in my supers when I threw them on.
Hey, Keith. But now you're getting what your early is privet, is it, honey?
Blackberry and privet.
Well, I don't know if there's a lot of privet in there because we got bloomed, but blackberry was my biggest here. Blackberry and tongue nut.
I like blackberries. What's it taste like? Blackberries or?
I don't know because it all tastes the same. Anything in the spring tastes the same to me, so I guess it's kind of mixed up.
Was it sweet, super sweet?
Pretty much. Now, when we get a heavy privet flow, it's got an aftertaste to me. I don't like it.
Like potpourri.
Yeah, it tastes good at first, but it has that aftertaste to it. I don't save it. I blend it in with everything else what covers it up.
Yeah, we did get a big tongue flow this year. Like I've never seen a tongue oil tree bloom like they did this year.
Well, now DC says I'm saying a blackberry. You guys are saying blackberry.
It's dewberry.
He's called a dewberry.
We have both.
Yeah, most of ours is dewberry around here, but we got both of them.
Is that like that great big blackberry?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit bigger. It tends to grow closer to the ground. I don't think it makes as much fruit.
I think some of the old guys around, we used to call them wineberries.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, they were like you had little teeny blackberries, then you had great big
yeah,
ones that like little bumps on them and all, kind of rounded. They called them wineberries.
Might be the same thing. I don't know.
Charlie, you and Dinah or Lynn were saying you get that the locust is out up there.
Yeah.
Well, I got locust trees here. It's sporadic here in the valley because it's so dry.
Yeah. Well, here, like I was going up the main highway here at 152 and off the left there, here's some locust trees, and it's got about that much bloom hanging down.
Yep.
About 6 inches or so. And then across the road where my locust trees are over there, they were green last week. And then within the last couple of days, they got something hanging down on them. And I seen some other trees off to the left there, which you could kind of tell they were like long cigar type, which is more like a cherry tree. So, we'll see what happens.
And poplar trees down on the river are blooming. But over here, They're not doing anything.
All I know, they black and they berry. Uh, yeah, Kevin, he just doesn't have his background, and he's
Yeah, I
got
don't
a
have my background up.
background up, and he's using a laptop camera instead of his normal camera
Yeah.
and all. So, you feeling all right, Bill? I know you. I don't know how much you want to say, but
Yeah. I mean, I've been 3 days with no pain meds, and Monday when I went to the doctor, he said everything looked good. And as it should look 4 days removed from surgery. So I looked at it. The nurse came in today and changed the bandage. It looked good. She said it looked good. So
had some surgery, guys. That so he's been.
yeah.
I'm a little bit under the weather. All that. So. But yeah, like I say, locusts just automatically just pop. And like I say, it's at least for me, I think it's 2 weeks. Usually it's around the 15th of May. And here it is just the 1st of May.
Yeah.
Very early.
Yep. Everything's been early this year.
And then luckily we are right here where I live. We've had a fair amount of rain here recently.
Yeah.
Hey there, Southern Maryland beekeeper. David. And so I don't know, like I say, I got my supers out. I got everything demoried the last couple weeks ago. And I'm ready as far as I can tell. And I just pulled a bunch of supers out today to let them thaw out, get them ready. And I think maybe I'm behind on. I got some boxes down there that I should have done something back in the winter, and I need to paint them.
I knew it was bad luck to empty one of my freezers all the way out. I just had a dead out. I think it was abscon, really. And I walked over to the bee yard yesterday or day before yesterday, and they were robbing it out.
So Kevin's keeping 60,000 hives out in the California. I guess. Well, you wouldn't be doing almonds. I guess. I guess whatever else that they're growing out there. And then the other ones are Louisiana to requeen. And then you head up north, that I believe is what, North Dakota? I think it is. And they have, what is it, that sweet clover up there, and I'm not sure if they do alfalfa or not. And all there. Hey, Bubba. Hey, Bubba.
He's mad because he can't get in my lap.
What's this thing in your lap? I'm supposed to be sitting there.
Yep. Sorry, buddy. You waited too long to get up here. Yep.
Do any of y'all have much experience with those little styrofoam mini mate nukes?
Used to use them all the time.
I used them without problems last year. This year, I don't know what's going on. I'm getting a lot of abscons, and they're not plugged out when they're absconding.
Well, we had the issue we had with them, and the reason we quit using them was number one because of skunks, and number two raccoons.
Oh yeah, I think
and because the skunks would come in and turn them over, and then we started putting electrical tape around the lids to keep the lids on, and they would still turn them over, and when they turn them over, they'd abscond.
Are they overheating, Eddie? That's what Dave's thinking. Down in your way, they get too hot.
I guess it's possible, but I have them all in the shade. I mean, they're not in the sun. I don't feel like it's gotten that hot yet. In the 80s, you know, and they're leaving a couple frames of cat brood. You know, it's very strange, and it's not completely full. Like there'll be a little bit of room still. Because once they start building, I take the feeder out, add 2 more frames in, and let them build that out too. I figure I probably got a little bit more leeway like that, and it worked fine last year. But this year, I'm getting like half of them are just leaving on me, and I got no idea why.
I don't know. I've never used them. Now, when I'd go down to Georgia, down there to Hardeman's and stuff, they have uh, it's a two queen box, and it had a small feeder in each one of them, like a frame feeder, and two or three small, I think 3 frames in there, and I guess it was. That's no problem, Kevin. And anyway, they had flap. They flip the one side up and go in there and find that queen, and then cage her or whatever. And then that flap would go down. The other side would flip up and then find that queen. And then they had just had a telly cover on, or not a telly cover, but a migratory cover on top of it. And it was about, I don't know, 10 by 12, 10 by 12 or 12 by 12 square box. And it had a entrance on one side and a screen on the other side for ventilation and stuff. And all that. So
I use some of those 3-way queen castle type setups too. I've never had anything abscond from them, but not being really big, I thought the styrofoam nukes were an easier way to do it with not as many bees. Like I said, last year it worked pretty well for me, and I've got a whole bunch more of them this year. I'm just feel like I'm banging my head against the wall with it.
yeah, now David here, he's down in Southern Maryland. He had the same thing last year. Too older bees, not enough young bees, maybe.
I never had that. I never had that problem with the older bees. They always stayed around, and when the younger bees would leave, the older bees took care of the cells and the new queens.
I know down there in Georgia, they had them, in them pine forest where they planted, so there was a row of trees and a row of trees. And then down the middle was where they had all these boxes, one after another, maybe 50. They'd have 1,500, 2,000 hives in there. And then over on the other side over there, they have 5 or 6 regular 10 framers, but that was just for drone population to mate them queens in that area. And once they kind of got, they would go in there and sometimes there wouldn't be any bees, and they'd have to, they'd be like trading frames. Like, have you got a frame of bees or a frame of eggs or whatever, and switch that around to keep that little hive going all the time. And then, of course, give them some sugar water, keep them, and all that kind of thing. And then sometimes they'd harvest a bunch of bees and then take a great big scoop in there and just scoop a couple scoops of bees in there to get them going again. And all that. But
yeah, Uncle Junior, I put them in my honey house, and I have the window blacked out, and I stay in there for 24 hours. And I have the AC as low as it'll go. And they don't usually abscond on me when I first put them out. This is happening like 2 weeks after they've been out. They're just leaving, and they're leaving when there's cat brood in there. It seems like they're leaving really close before I'm gonna harvest the queen. It's very strange. Like I said, it didn't happen to me at all last year.
So you put them in your honey, air conditioned honey house.
Yeah, I feel it helps if you can keep them cool and in a dark place, because they want to chew to the light through that styrofoam. The first time I did it, I didn't know about the light thing, and when I came back to my honey house, boy, it was full of bees. It was a lot of bees.
So you're keeping them in there to keep them to get them their that they forget where they've come from to stay in that little hive.
Yeah, so I'll make them up, put the syrup in, put a cup and a half of bees, and then put either queen cell or a virgin in a cage with just a little bit of candy. And then I'll lock them in the honey house. Like I'll usually make up in the afternoon, and then I've run the air conditioner in the honey house for a while, try to get as cold as possible. I lock them in the honey house overnight and all the next day. And the following night, I come and pull them out and put them wherever they're going to be, and open it at dark so they don't really want to fly then. And they seem like they stay. The first time I tried doing it, when I opened them during the day, I lost a lot. But this seemed to work. But then, like I say, this year I'm getting absconds, but it's not when I first make them. They're absconding with cat brood, which is weird.
Are they in the queen? Well, the queen's absconding. Are they just running out of a place to lay eggs?
Oh, there's space. And a lot of them, the fifth frame is only about half drawn. Because right after when they finish their first thing of syrup, if we got a little bit of a flow on, I take the feeder out and I add 2 more frames. So I feel like I got a little bit more leeway if they got 5 frames instead of 3. Now that might not be true. I don't know. Just in my head, it makes sense. But it's not working this year.
And then David's talking about, are they too close to where they're, what do you call it, drifting?
They're very close. Like if I did last year in the same areas, I didn't have these problems. And maybe I don't think they're too close because they're not drifting to another one of those small hives. They're just leaving. It's not like some of the other ones are blowing up on me. It's just some of them are taking off.
Hey, Ian.
Hey,
I'm sure there are people by me catching some itty bitty baseball sized swarms from them.
Interesting.
Ian's bees are up and flying today. So, Ian, was it 21 degrees Celsius up there today like it was in Doug's house? I think that's what it was, yeah.
While I'm thinking about it, I won't be doing my live tomorrow. I've obligated myself to talk at a beekeepers meeting without thinking it through. But maybe Tom and Melissa might do something. I'm not sure. They don't know yet.
And Mark there, he said he loaded up 15 and 5 only stayed. 18C, 64 degrees of.
That's a heat wave up there.
Yeah, that's about what it is here, Ian. And the land dried, so I guess your brother's ready to plant corn.
Send me some of that water down here, Ian. We can't keep a planter in the ground.
Yeah, Mark, they all stayed in the beginning when I made it. It's, they're leaving like at the 2.5 week mark, which is very strange. At least I think it's very strange.
I've never heard of that happening before.
Me either.
Where they flew out.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's like I said earlier about letting them bees come up, where they got a good solid amount of nurse bees. And then I did do one nuke where I just I watched for the queen and pulled all the frames up I needed for a couple of splits, I guess it was. I did find the queen, and those bees stayed there with that brood and stuff and did not go back to home base. And I'm sure there was some foragers mixed in them, but it seemed like that the majority of them stayed there. Good. So I'm hoping to get out there tomorrow afternoon and hoping to see. The last time I looked, there was a lot of eggs and a lot of larvae and stuff like that. So I'm hoping to see a lot of cat brood out there and all that. And then we can drop in some open brood comb. All that. So you're not going to have a show tomorrow night, right, Joey?
No,
All right.
I'll be talking about the time it's supposed to be starting. Like I say, Tom wasn't sure yet if they could do anything, so
All
just
right.
watching.
Here comes Norman.
Hey, Norman.
Hey guys.
Hey, Norman.
Well, what's your weather forecast out there?
We got the generous end of the stick right now. Yeah, we got a high pressure system, and yeah, it's like we're gonna get up to 28. So I'm guessing like 90 F.
82. 28 Celsius. Right?
Yeah. Well, it's Canadian, so it feels warmer.
28 is it's 82 degrees with no fog, right?
No, we're gonna have no rain for the foreseeable future, and yeah, it's looking really good right now.
Yeah, Norman, that sounds warm. It feels warm to you, but it sounds cold to me because it's 28.
Well, I guess it's all what you're used to, right? At that point, So, but yeah, things are going great up here. I'm making rounds and rounds and rounds of queens, and what my problem was last year was I couldn't get them to actually draw out the queens, and this year it's not a problem at all. And now I'm just trying to figure out how to, it's like one step at a time. I'm just trying to get them into a little tiny styrofoam box and get the little bees in there to actually, not die. So,
What do we got? Brian here. He's down. Let's see.
Russell, yes, I have small hive beetles and everything. Those little minis are bad about getting them in there. But they're not making larvae or anything. I didn't see any small hive beetle larvae in anything.
yeah, those mini, that's kind of the focus of what I'm up to nowadays. And I'll figure it out. But at this point, last year, I made one queen in one of them, of all the ones I've tried, and it instantly swarmed as soon as she was mated. But I was there, so I managed to capture the swarm right away. But yeah, I've had no luck with those mini nukes yet.
Last year they worked really well for me. I was doing a 21-day schedule, and I had almost no problems. But this year it's not going well. I can get them going, but I'm just having so many absconds. Also, I've lost a lot to raccoons this year. I'm at war with the raccoons in Folsom. I've taken out 2, but I think there's a lot more. I think they took out 17 of them one weekend. I was not happy.
17 hives?
The mini mating nukes, the little styrofoam ones.
Oh yeah, they're bad about that.
Yeah. They don't just
The only way to stop that,
they shred them. What's that?
the only way to stop that, what is that? Is it the Fender hive that Michael uses?
Yep.
That's good heavy duty. I don't think no raccoon would mess with you with that.
No.
Yeah, but I probably can't afford to have 50 or 60 of them.
Well,
No,
you can't afford the coons to keep tearing everything up either.
Well, they're only $10 each.
Those Duke tube traps for the coons, and they work. I've taken out 2 of them so far, but I got a feeling there's more. I mean, I'm out in the woods, so I'm sure there's more. But maybe when their buddies start disappearing more, they'll be more wary.
Well,
Hey, Matt.
Hey,
now
Matt.
that you work those mini mating nukes, I'm wondering, it's like there's no market for like, okay, I got a mated queen in a mini mating nuke. It's like, what's that worth? And who's buying that? Because you'd think there'd be a market for that.
I mean, you can sell the queen and get another one mated in that mini mating nuke.
Well, right, but if you just sold the whole, like, here you go, here's your little starter hive.
People around here laugh at you.
Well, you'll get it a week before you get the nuke. Well, 2 weeks before you get the nuke. So, I don't know. It's just I've never seen anybody.
That's right, DC. It's a quarter of a nuke, so it's a quarter of the price, right, Norman?
Well, you got to account for the queen.
See,
Oh yeah, that's about right.
There's what you do with it. That's what Doug says.
Yep.
Yeah.
They go to stink to high heaven, right?
It depends on how you do it.
I don't know. Yeah, I had a. Let's see. I'm going to go into my pictures. Got a picture of that mating box I was telling you about. There it is. See if I can share that. Yeah. Let's see. How do I do that?
Hey, Rodney.
It's been a long day today.
All right, I'm going to share a picture. Are you talking about this is the mating box that they do down in Georgia? That right there.
Yeah.
You got a vent hole up in the top, and then he's got a little wooden, you can close the entrance, and there's one on both sides of that box. And then
What kind of frames does it take?
little homemade,
Okay.
Little quarter frames.
quarter frames. And then I'm gonna get a better picture of that. And there we go. Now that's lit off of it. Down the middle there is the center of it. And then this flap off to the right, that's one side of it for one queen. And then on the opposite side, you can put two queens in that box.
Yep.
And then let's see.
So has it got a feeder and two frames in there, or feeder?
Yeah, they got a feeder. They got a small what do you call it? Frame feeder. Small frame feeder with I think 3 frames in there. And all.
But they're only like 6-inch frames, right?
Yeah, I'd say they're 6-inch frames. That's about right. Who's got a duck?
Yeah, that's me. Sorry. The microphone picks up the foul real easy. You can tell by my picture.
So you saying that was foul language coming in on that mic?
Might have been.
Foul ball.
And Charlie, who's using those down in Georgia?
Hardeman's apiary.
Yeah.
I was
Okay.
seeing if I could find any. I'd never really looked down inside I never took any shots inside.
I thought
That's-
you had one of them pulling a queen out of there and putting it in a cage, Charlie.
Huh?
I thought you had one of them pulling a queen out of one of them and putting it in a
Yeah,
cage.
I got a video of that, I believe. I'll have to.
So what's the felt on top?
That's your inner cover.
Yeah, but what is it?
You said it.
Yeah, well, I know it's an inner cover, but what is the felt? Like, what's it from?
It's made
you
out
just,
of.
You just it's felt.
Or weave? Like, what is it? What's it from? Where do you get it? What is it? Okay, the reason I'm asking is because locally to us, we have a lot of they used to make a lot of newspaper and paper products. West here we had a lot of paper mills, and one thing you could get locally is stuff called mill felt, which is this thick felt material, and you can get just these massive chunks of it, like just like 20 feet by 100 feet, and they just give it to you, and they have holes in it because it's all burnt out, and they're kicking it out because you can't make paper with it anymore. And they also had mill weave, which kind of looks like that, what you're looking at. And it's basically a plastic weave.
Yeah, we used to be able to get that felt from the paper mills here.
You know what I'm talking about then? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they were begging for people to take it home with them just to get rid of it.
Yeah.
It's cheaper to give it to the employee. But same thing with rope. On those paper machines, they'd have that rope. I think it had something to do with measuring the speed. But every so often, they'd change that rope out, and they'd gonna throw it away, so they'd give it away to people. Now they won't let you have none of it.
Nope. Yeah.
They'd rather throw it away than let you have it.
Video queens.
Can I answer Brent's question? I made a cell builder with a queen excluder using Bill's advice, but I think the difference about what I do and that he recommends that you use a cloak board is that I have basically a deep and a medium and a deep and a medium.
Double screen board.
Yeah. So Bill's smarter about that, but I'm getting away with it.
You've been lucky. I will say that.
Still doing it.
You've been lucky.
Sometimes you can do things when you don't know better, huh, Bill?
Exactly.
Hey, I just pulled another 18 cells today.
I still hadn't saw the question you were answering.
Brent Willis, team awesome. So yes, I'm using a queen excluder, but I got a lot of bees and a lot of boxes.
We got a guy here in Louisiana that just uses a queen excluder, grafts above it. Sammy? Joey?
Yeah.
He just uses a queen excluder and grafts above it. Kent went and spent a day over there, and Kent's actually trying it right now to see if he can get it to work for him.
I'm grafting below it.
Okay.
So the queen's up, locked away in her little
Kingdom.
queen attic. Couldn't escape if she wanted to.
I mean, I do the cloak board thing a lot, but I put that divider board in there for like half a day and then pull it out.
I watched Brian's Castle Highs video today, and you can make a lot of emergency cells with that demo-ray method if you put in the right frames up there.
Yep.
Put something up there with tiny larvae or eggs just about to hatch.
Yep.
He was knocking down all kind of cells.
That's one of the positive things about the Demery. You can reduce swarming, increase honey, and now your hive becomes sort of an automatic resource hive. Like tomorrow, I'm going to bring brood up top. if I got 10 boxes of Demarys down through there, all I got to do is pull one frame out of each with the bees, put it in my cell builder that I'm going to set up 5/5. And I didn't hurt any of them hives by taking one frame out. And then as also, like you're saying, Joey, you can put a frame of eggs up there, go back in 5 days and or 6 days at the latest, and they'll have queen cells ready to go, and
Yeah.
you can make a split out of there. So it's a
Yeah, if you
multi.
want splits, I learned last year, if if you do the Demery sort of method and then you just crack the top, so as long as they get air up there, that's enough. As long as they have airflow and they don't even have to necessarily get out, but if they can if it's not airtight up top, they'll make queen cells.
Here we go. Let's see.
But yeah, my excluder is basically like I use oversized frames, which are basically a deep and a medium. So converting it over to normal beekeeper. Basically, I got a deep and a medium below, queen excluder, deep and a medium above.
So while you doing that, Bill, what's your preferred brood to move up to the top?
In Demeray,
Yeah, Bill or Charlie, either one.
I move cap brood up when I move it up.
Cap brood.
Yeah, I do. I try to get 95% or better cat brood. I don't want them to do any cells up there. So the more I take the cat brood out of the bottom and move it upstairs, and I put drawn comb in the bottom. So now she has plenty of place to lay, and that will prevent her from wanting to swarm.
Yep.
Oh.
God, I had a frame like that today that I wanted to basically invert it. I wanted to put it down. Basically, it was 98% cat brood, and it's like one of mine. The whole thing, cat brood, a deep and a medium. But the problem was around the edge of it, there was all these eggs and really young larvae. And I'm like, yeah, I don't want to put those down.
They gonna have a few stuck in there somewhere.
Yeah, I didn't want to deal with that.
Yeah, when you put that up, they're going to find them.
Yeah.
All right.
And I'll leave that cap brood up there until it hatches out, and then I pull that empty frame down and put it back in the bottom.
All right, now here's the video I took down the last time I was in Georgia. I'm gonna go ahead and share that. Now see, there's the frame right there. That's the feeder frame.
Those European frames?
Homemade box, I guess.
All right, we got an Italian queen here.
And see that stool he's sitting on. You see them old bee pictures about them stools? Well, that's where they're used at. They still have them down there. Beep.
How long does he wait to come back and put another cell in there?
That afternoon.
Oh, hell.
You must
that
have
was
that
good.
box a little extra deep, huh?
It's not a deep box. It's kind of between a more like a medium almost.
Oh, I hate doing that.
I think he's done it a few times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I'm pretty brave, but just sticking your arm down between a couple of frames. It's like I've never got like stuck on my arm.
They're
And
doing
that's
they
how we
there's
captured
I asked
Italian
Mickey
queens in the mating yard in Vidalia, Georgia.
Mickey there, they're gonna cage 100 queens each person in a day.
That's how we do it.
Oh. Let's see what else I got to show you.
It doesn't look like there's any more space in that than one of those little styrofoam minis.
That styrofoam, what's that, about
bigger.
4 inches wide, maybe?
The frames, yeah, they're about 4 inches wide, 5 inches deep.
Yeah, that's 3 times bigger. That's
and
huge.
they'll hold 5 frames.
4 inches wide. That one there, I guarantee it's about 6 inches, maybe.
Yeah, so I mean, 2 of those frames is probably about
I
4
would say
of the
like that. I would
styrofoam
say at
frame.
least 6 inches wide. Those frames are at least 6 inches. I don't, maybe, yeah, about 6 inches or so. Let me see what else I can dig up.
Can y'all hear that rain?
Yeah.
It's coming down.
I mean, I hear it outside my window. We're gonna wash away over here if it don't stop.
Send it this way.
Ridiculous.
They said today that we're 14 inches behind in rain up here.
Hmm.
We were behind, but I think we caught up.
Well, I don't complain much about the kind of rain we're getting because it's just a steady shower most of the time, except when it's doing this. But sometimes we get those chunk floaters that wash your ground away and everything. I got it better maintained now, but my driveway used to be downhill for a long way. And I couldn't get gravel to stay on that road for nothing. It'd blow it slam across the blacktop. Finally had somebody come in here and do it right.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on here.
I've never tried to use those little mini mating nukes. I've used regular nukes, and I would throw a feeder in there just to take up space and just have like 3 frames, regular frames, and do it that way. A little bit more resources that have to be used.
Yeah.
This year's making me rethink it for sure. I do prefer regular, like the a 5-frame nuke and just putting a few frames in it, or
Queen yard.
the 3-ways to them. But it takes a lot more resources.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I made a 4-way one time. I thought that was going to work for me. Like in the deep, regular 10-frame deep box, where it'd be 2 frames in each one. But I found out that was a mistake. You could pull both frames out, have a queen walk around on the floor, you still can't get your hand down in there to get her. So I said, I'm going to go back to something else.
I built 2 of those 3 years ago also, and I don't use them anymore.
I think I gave them to somebody.
I'd use a bunch of the 3-way ones, though.
Yeah, I think they work
We
good.
put 2 chloroplast dividers in, and each hold 3 frames in each one. I do feel
Yeah,
like I
it's
rarely
true.
get all 3 mated when I do that, though. I
I got
get
a
the 2
picture on
ends or the
here
middle,
somewhere.
but hardly all 3 ever get mated at the same time for me.
I got a picture in here somewhere of the nukes that we used to use before we stopped using the minis. I can't find them right now.
Shit.
No, I really, really, really want to use those foam nukes, but so far the only way I can make a queen is like a full size equipment. I don't need a lot of bees either to do it, but
Can y'all see that?
Yeah.
That's what we used to use.
This is plastic ones.
Yeah.
Here, let me blow you up.
And the lid snapped down on them.
oh yeah, they want lots of money for those.
Went the wrong way.
$22.
Put them back up there, Bill. There it is.
Yeah, I got a buddy that's got a few of those,
Yeah.
and you can stack them, right?
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, they'll mesh together.
Yeah. They work really well. I mean, you set them in the shade and the bees don't have an issue with them, and
I mean, the concept's pretty much the same as the styrofoam one, I would think.
kind of,
same
yeah.
size.
It's 4 frames and a feeder, and you can put the queen excluder on the feeder to keep her from getting in there and drowning. So, I mean,
Yeah, the styrofoam ones come with a little queen excluder for part of the feeder, but if you look at the lid, they've got passageways on the side that go all the way. So I don't
yeah.
know what
These
they're
had
thinking about that.
These had a clear plastic top that went on them.
Yeah, I all the styrofoams I got came with that, but I didn't like the plastic top. It was more of a pain to deal with. So I just kind of threw them in a corner.
Yes, DC, I've used the Enel dividers. They work okay. But you have to make sure that you've got them expanded and tight after you expand them and fit them. You got to make sure you tighten them down while you're in the hive doing it, while you have them in the hives. That way they fit better and they fit tighter. And it's a true 5x5.
All right, and here's the yard that we were at. See, they just got them one after another down through there.
Yep.
And they got the planted pines. They're all, tree farm type thing. And then the guys are all sitting on their little benches. And you've seen those pictures in the books of those bee seats, and got a cushion on the top, and then there's a cubby box on either side of the seat on the outside where they might keep the open queen cages over there. And then in between their legs, there might be a thing there for corks. And there's a hole, and some of them have a hole where once they cork up a queen, they shove that queen inside that hole for safekeeping and everything.
That kind of looks a lot like breeder here close to me. He's got it though. He's in the pines just like that. It looked a lot like their setup.
Right.
But he can drive his ATV between them though. He's got room where he don't have to walk so far. He can carry a lot of his stuff on his ATV. He'll move it up about every 20.
Well, what they'll do is they'll come in a van. The van's got let's say 150, 100-gallon tank of sugar water in the back end of it, corn syrup basically. And they'll fill them jugs up with corn syrup, and then they might have one or two vehicles there where everybody comes in. There'll be about 5 or 6 of them, and they'll all work it. Now, you were talking about, putting the cells in. They would go out that morning, and there'll be certain rows. Let's see, he does Russians and Italians, and he'll do these certain rows here. Let's say the next 5 or 6 rows are all Russian hives. So they went out there that morning and they harvested all those Russian queens and caged them. Came in, went to lunch, came back, and then they get their little kitty sand buckets full of Russian queen cells, and they all go out there and start just putting cells in all those hives that they had just dequeened, 5 hours previous. And then the other crew will be, let's say they'll be harvesting the Italians, stuff like that.
They just set them on top in between.
Yep, set them on top. Yeah,
They don't have to pull another frame.
yeah. Mark's been sending me some sent me some pictures of his mating boxes and stuff. Let me see if I can download them, I guess.
I know I'm going to have to eventually build my own mating boxes. I just don't want to. I just want.
Oh, you're building them funky frames of yours.
Yeah. Hey, the results speak for themselves. I gotta brag a little bit. Is because
what I'm getting at, if you can do that, then you can what do you call it? Build those mating boxes and stuff like that.
Yeah, but can I do it for $10?
Why not?
Well, you're
Well, where you're at, you may not be able to do them for $10, but
that's right, $20 Canadian.
yeah.
I got another question. Y'all go ahead and talk about that. I'll ask when you get through with that.
I don't know. I mean, are you balancing out the price? I mean, you built those regular hives that you have in your back yard there.
They work because like not counting the hours.
Well, what I'm getting at is you built them, you put the time and the effort and the money into them, and they work for you. And you could have went out and bought maybe, some type of insulated hive too, but you went ahead and did that. So building your own mating boxes.
But it does other things too that I really like the deeper frames. It's just the bees are happier. It's like I'm doing some science this year. I have some uninsulated hives that are like standard equipment, and I have I'm switching some over to uninsulated hives that are going to be my frames, and I have some other ones that are my insulated hives that have standard equipment. And I've found so far that if I got a deep with like a really insulated hive, it's like they're still kind of pissy and they fly out the top. And like I get a lot of finger stings. But my big frames, it's like I put on a just like a net on my head, just because I don't want to get stung in the eye. Like just oddball. It's like they're just all my bees are so nice with the deeper frames, and they also because they go
like
deeper.
If you're going to make a mating box, why don't you just, instead of making something that's a half frame and all that stuff, do like I did. I made 2-frame mating boxes. I wouldn't recommend that. And I got to thinking about this. Well, if I make a 3-frame, I'm only 2 frames off from a 5-frame that you can buy a regular standardized box. So make a 5-frame box. Of course, up in Canada, it's 6 frames, right?
That's for metric, right? Yeah.
No, you ask Ian and all them, they got their nuke boxes are 6 frame.
No,
And they got 7/8 thickness wood too.
yeah, and they weigh 150 pounds. You need a friend to come over to help you pick them up.
Well, what I'm
No, I
getting
hear-
at
I
is
hear
you can make a box that holds, let's say, 4 frames or 5 frames. If you can buy a standardized 5 frame, you can either buy it or make yourself a 4-frame box, and it holds standard deep frames, none of them long things you got, but because you got 2 frames hooked together anyway.
Yeah.
And there you go. You haven't got a whole lot of work into it. Then Doug here says, Norman, he says, one queen's going to pay for a Starphone box. Nuke.
One queen pays for like 4 of them.
How much is a queen in Canada? $100?
Oh yeah. The queens I'm making, they're like, yeah, they're gonna be $80.
$80.
Mm-hmm.
$40 American, right?
About that, yeah. Today. No, the nukes I'm making right now, they'll bring like kind of prairie style nukes. Yeah, like 4 frames, and they're like $300.
Or
Wow.
do like DC here. Get yourself a standard deep box, and then put the grooves in it with what is that stuff? Plywood or not plywood? Anyway, divider boards in it, and divide that thing out in three frame boxes, and now you got a queen castle.
Yeah, but that's okay. But the thing is, it's the amount of equipment. It's like, yeah, I can build all this stuff.
What's a beekeeper, buddy? I mean, the more equipment, the merrier.
I need more equipment, but I just want to make I just want the phone things to work, because I gave China probably about $500 at this point, and I want my money back.
Well, there you go. You bought that darn foreigner-made equipment.
Yep.
You have to buy American-made.
Yeah, I guess that's it.
Charlie, you fading out.
Who is?
You are.
Me?
Working in witness
You're
protection or
fade.
something.
You're getting blurry, Charlie.
Yeah.
You're fading out with your good points.
I had a guy, I was talking to him yesterday down here. He's come on our chats before. Lady was getting ready to throw some old beekeeping stuff away, and she asked him if he wanted it. He come looked at it. He said, "Yeah, I'll take it." We had several frames there. He threw them up in the truck. Didn't pay them much attention. When he got home, the frames are deeper than mediums, but shorter than deeps. And there's no name on them or anything. He don't have any idea where she got them from. But they're like in between a deep and a medium.
What if it's an English type?
That's kind of what I was wondering.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
I
got
wonder if
the-
it's a national deep frame.
There you go.
Yep. I couldn't think of the word the other day till I got off the phone with him, and I did a search on it, and it was national. I was wondering if that's what it was.
Yeah, they make
National
a national
brand.
deep.
I didn't know there was a size between a medium and a deep.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there is in the UK. It's called a
Yeah.
national deep.
Now, Todd, Norman lives in the 51st state, so he ain't foreign. It's not
Not
far.
yet. We would be the 52nd state. You
57.
guys get Alberta first. I know that.
Hey, at least we've gotten him to admit that, Charlie.
Yeah, I do not. Not okay. I'll give you guys a little interjection in my Canadian politics. I'm really offended as what's going on up here. Not happy with things. I think you guys are starting to figure stuff out, but it could go the other way. As far as what you guys got going on, I think you're starting to figure it out. But yeah, we have so much corruption up here. It's absolutely nuts. Basically, up here, we're giving the land back to the Indians at this point.
Well, as far as corruption goes, it's just as bad here as it is up there, everywhere.
No, it's not. It's
AJW.
Where it's up here. The only reason it's not bad is because we don't have cops or as many, like, basically cops and people to enforce the new laws on us that you guys do down there. It's like we basically, anyways, yeah. Bees.
So do you guys still have the mounted police up there with the red coats and all that?
Yeah, those are the show ones. Yeah.
The what?
Like when they're all dressed up in their fancy red coats on their horses. Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, the Royal Canadian Mounted Police.
Yeah, they actually have
a handsome group of men. Boy, howdy. Some good-looking horses. But yeah, we got bigger problems up here than you guys do.
No, who knows? Well, anyway. But that's what I would do, Eddie. Make up your own boxes that fit your frames, and make a queen castle up. You got 3 hives in one box.
Yeah, I'm using quite a few of those. Like I say, I could just make a lot more of the styrofoam ones. But I'm going to keep trying them. We'll see. See if I can figure out what's going on. I'm not going to quit.
So Eddie, are you mostly like putting the queens in your spare gear to get them started? Or
What do you mean?
Well, you got spare equipment that you're not using right now. So you'll shake some bees in there and put a queen cell in there and just see what you get.
Well, I was using a lot of those styrofoam minis, and I put a cup and a half of bees.
Oh, exclusively.
Oh, I've got a bunch of those 3-ways made up too, where I just took a deep and cut 2 grooves in it and put 4 plastic dividers. So I got a bunch of those running too, and I've got a few 5-frame nukes running. But I got a lot of those styrofoam. Well, not a lot, but I got 40 or 50 of those styrofoam minis going, and
it's a lot.
I had raccoons took out 17 a couple weeks ago, and then they started absconding on me at like the 2.5 week mark. I just don't. It's super frustrating because I didn't have any of that problem last year.
What did you use to cut the groove in your box?
A router.
I guess I need to get a router.
I just made a little piece of wood that was the right width spacer that fit against my router and run it in there.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, you could do that with a finished.
Yeah.
Get it into the box. Yeah.
Yeah. Because the last 2 years I bought all my boxes already assembled and stuff. But I mean,
all the hives I'm making nowadays, I'm putting I'm doing it on the table saw, and it's like before I put it all together, I'm putting the lines in it for those, and
yeah, because before it's assembled, you use a dado blade on a table saw, and
yeah,
it's easy.
Yeah. I only have to use a normal saw blade because my dividers, I just use plastic that I buy from a place called Industrial Plastics, and you just what do they have? They got a lot of plastic, and that's all. But yeah, buy a sheet of plastic and jam that in there, and that, in theory, that'll do it. But those weren't even working that well. You know what I'm finding? It's like as far as mating a queen, it's like they need their own box, and it's like if it's a shared box, half the bees will figure out that there's bees next door, and they'll just go next door. And then the queen, if you got 2 or 3 in the same box, it's not going to work. So they need their own house with no neighbors to mate. But once they're mated, then you can stack. You can put them in apartment buildings, and it doesn't matter as much.
I've had some problems with the three ways. I rarely get all three of them mated at the same time in one. But my buddy Kent, he almost exclusively does those, and he has no problems. He gets all three mated almost every time.
Wow. So what's
Well,
his divider board between the sections?
Plywood.
So it's pretty serious.
Yeah, well, he uses chloroplast on some of them, but some of them plywood, like 1/4-inch plywood. But sometimes it's election sign material too. Yeah.
I've heard where they can hear the other. If you got 3 queen cells in a divided box, that they'll hear one chirping, and then the other ones in the other compartments will kill that because they think they're all together.
I never thought about that, but that makes a little bit of sense.
I wouldn't even say that they're killing her. I just think that they decide that, hey, the neighbor's having a better party over there. We're going, and then they ditch the one over here, and it's like, screw that.
Well, they always talking about that the queen coming out first is going to kill the rest of the queen cells. And actually, a friend of mine, this is years ago, he had an in-house observation hive and had multiple queen cells. And he said all of a sudden you heard that queen chirping, and those worker bees went like in a frenzy, and they went around tearing down and chewing through those other queen cells that weren't chirping and stinging them. They were doing all the killing. She wasn't. And all that. And they were discussing this years ago that like you say, queen castle, where he wouldn't get a queen in every compartment. And they were coming up with the idea that compartment 1 was chirping, and they would kill the queens in the other compartments because they could hear that.
I was thinking it was a smell thing, but I mean, that makes sense too.
I resonate with what you're saying there, Charlie. That makes a lot of sense.
The stingers are fully developed, David, except they're not. It takes them a while to get hardened up. So the queen doesn't go around and sting them. It's the worker bees.
Well, I know if I get like an oddball queen in another hive, like all of a sudden the hive's all discombobulated, and they're balling the original queen and they're balling the new queen and pushing them at different sides of the hive. Like I've seen that happen before. So yeah, I could see what you're talking about. It's like, yeah, they just get the workers to do the work. That makes a lot of sense.
And
if you got a thin wall, it's like me with like my plastic inserts that I've had absolutely no luck with trying to get a bunch of different queens mated in the same box, because it's like I'd get one going, but the other two don't do it. That makes a lot of sense. See, that's why I come here, Charlie. You taught me something.
That's what it's all about these talks. It's like Eddie, they're talking about putting in virgin queens and them using, taking a nuke out of the big hive he wants to requeen, put that virgin in that nuke, get that nuke built up, and then dropping that whole nuke in that original hive and getting rid of the old queen first. And I've heard that multiple times now and read about it with GM Doolittle's book. And it's information that's been out there for 100 years, but it's always new to us because of us new beekeepers per se.
Yeah, my best splits ever. It's when I accidentally steal the queen from one hive, I just meant to take a frame of bees out of it, so frame of brood out of it and some bees, and then I snagged the queen, put her in a new one, so that's like maybe 1 or 2 frames, and then the original hive's all upset, and then I realized what I've done. The old queen in the new hive is just laying up a storm, and that's super happy. And then I look back at the old one, they're like, they're pissed off, but then I can just put like a queen cell in there. And like they accept it instantly. And it's rocking too. It's like, it's the best way to do it. And like nobody
Well, I
talks
mean,
about
I've
that.
heard the one science girl that I thought would be pretty good, but now she basically took a queen out of hive 1 and put it in hive 2 and put the queen out of hive 2 into queen 1. And queen number 1 was a lousy queen in hive 1, but then she turned out to be a great queen in hive 2. So now why does that happen? Because it's a different group of bees that she's with.
Yeah, who knows?
Now, was the good one? Did the good one get bad when it went into the other hive?
I don't know. She never did come up and say that. And she couldn't give me any answers on that either. So, I mean, she did like a 2-year experiment about queens and when they're getting old and all these different, procedures. But then it was an incomplete experiment because she requeened the next year. She did not know the original queen when that queen was put in. So she really didn't know how old that queen was. They're just going by the colors. Well, they're saying, well, probably last spring is when we requeened. Well, that's not a real concrete science experiment, I think. I don't know. I got a 24 queen hunters. It's working better than any other queen I got out there, and the rest of them are June 25 queens. Where does that come from? It's got to be in genetics.
Last year I had a red queen that was still going. I don't know how she slipped through the cracks, but I knew she was going to crash on me. I just kept pulling brood from her, and she just kept filling the box and kept filling the box. It was crazy.
Mark's got your answer right there.
What's that Mark does?
Said one hive was in forward progress and the other one was not.
What do you mean by that, Mark? That's what I'm going to do, DC. That 24 queen, that's where I'm going to get my grafting material from. And I had a queen like that, 1 or 2 queens like that last year, that they were calm bees, good to work with, great honey producers, and they had a ton of bees, just a ton of bees. Now, she died like in the middle of the process, but I grafted off her, and then her offspring was like, yeah, it's okay.
I think it's always important to graft from calm bees. I mean, if I can't work them in a t-shirt, I'm not grafting from them.
Let's see. Brent says, Charlie, I think it's all that hive alive. Maybe.
I've had 2 nukes this year that ended up being a little bit too hot. I done pinched one of them, and the other one, if they don't calm down in a couple of weeks, I'm pinching that one too. I already had them ready to box them up and sell them, and them suckers, when you just break the frame, they come out hitting your hands, tearing you up. I said, nah. I just closed the lid back on them and went and picked another one out, put them in the pro nuke.
You need to come get some calm queens from either Kent or I. I was over at Kent's a few days ago and made up a bunch of nukes, worked half the day in the bees, and never had to put a jacket on. He even worked a bunch of it in just his fishing hat. And most of the time I go over there and he's working in flip-flops and shorts and a t-shirt and a fishing hat.
Hey, Jason.
Is he in his regular hives or mating nukes?
Regular hives.
Yeah.
Yeah, we went through a bunch of the. We didn't go through all the regular hives. We went through a decent amount of them. his bees are pretty calm. I feel like his bees and my bees are pretty calm because both of us don't tolerate it when they are not, and we'll pinch a queen real quick.
Okay, all cylinders are firing. Other one had a miss cylinder.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a good analogy, Mark. Hard to understand when you know what to look for. But yeah. Hey, Mr. John.
Hey, John.
Yeah, Jason. I seen it. Locust blooming over here too. In the last day or two, it came on, and the cherry trees were blooming. I guess for the last 4 or 5 days. So, Jason, he's over there, Eastern Shore of Maryland.
That's not too bad. $560 a day. Whew, rough. That's a lot of honey.
Yeah, it is.
So, Clay, did you sell that much honey today? Is that what it was, or was that antiques?
He was saying earlier that it was honey.
Well,
I only sold $100 in honey today. Somebody on Facebook Marketplace wanted to buy my Vivor extractor that I had modified, and then they changed their mind the last minute. So yeah, I love that. So now I got my Vivor extractor sitting in my yard so my bees can clean it out so I can hose it out later. That I fucking lugged over there and spent 20 minutes doing, figuring out where it is and pulling it out. Those sons of bitches.
hey, Travis.
Facebook Marketplace. Oh boy.
So, Travis, it's after the. Let's see, that was yesterday, the 30th. How did the meeting go? Or are they going to tell you? We'll send you an email. Yeah, down Greensboro. That's south of where. That's pretty south. Well, we've been getting some rain here, Jason.
Yeah, you guys all got some a little bit of cold and a little bit of rain coming your way. I'm looking at
Yeah,
the
there's a lot of rain coming across, but if you look at it, it goes across and then it goes north.
Yeah, it goes around around
It
me
goes-
anyway,
Don't you know?
and Charlie gets it.
You get a little bit of scraps that kind of the scraps of it, kind of the lower tail end of it.
That's what you want.
No,
Keep the wife happy.
no, right there.
But I tell you what, Eddie, if you figure out how to get these goddamn queens to work, you let me know.
Yeah, Jason, and then also the darn weather temperatures are roller coastering.
I really thought I'd figured it out last year, but I guess I figured wrong.
Yep,
With
there we
those
go.
styrofoam boxes, at least. That's why I bought so many more of them in the off season.
Yeah, I can get them. I can get them all to get mated in like full size equipment. That's not a problem. 100%. Well, not 100%, but pretty much 100% every time. If I use like full on gear and I give them like a, a frame or 2 frames of, like, it's expensive, but you can make it stick. But if you can just take like a little cup of bees and put it in a little box and make them like, Jesus, oh, that would be so nice. Do you think that they've just like, it's like Big B has like sold us on these nukes that it's like an idea and they're just like selling us crap and they're just taking our money at this point?
I mean, they're big producers that use a ton of those things and they work fine. I'm just not doing something right. No, my minis were not in the sun at all, Brent.
American Bee Lady. Hey, American Bee Lady.
Well, I can get them to accept them and tap them. Well, not far. So it's like step 1. I got it. Thanks to Bill.
How many bees are you putting in them?
In my
In the styrofoam minis?
in the styrofoam, like half a cup to a cup.
Oh, so I'm putting a cup and a half. I tried 1 cup before. I felt like it was a little bit light on bees.
Hey, American Bee Lady.
But like I said, this year I get them started, but I said I've had almost half of them abscond. Like after this cat brood, which is just bizarre.
Well, did they draw out the little frames?
Oh yeah, they draw the frames. Like I said, I got cat brood in them, and they're leaving.
Well, you're further ahead than me. I don't know. I got to look to you.
Now, to get them started, I don't have a problem with that. I think part of the trick is to lock them up in a cold, dark place for 24 to 48 hours. And when you bring them out, make sure it's just about to start getting dark. So you open it, they don't want to fly.
Okay.
I think that helps a lot for getting them started. But like I say, I'm having them abscond on me. It's not when I'm starting them that I'm having the issue. It's later on down the road.
Yeah, I think the problem that I have out here is that being Canada and all, it's like our nighttime temperatures can get a little nasty. So
Mark
it's
wants to know, are you using queen pheromone strips?
I'm not. I got some. I was gonna do a test, but I felt like since they weren't absconding right away, that wasn't the problem. But maybe I do need to do that. I don't know. I've got some. Maybe that's the thing to do, is to try on the next round. Put some of the temp queen in there and see if it works.
Yeah, I like what Bohemian's saying there. That was the next thing I was gonna mess with. It's like just put 4 boxes inside a box and see what you know. So it's like extra insulation. See what you get. Or wait, no, that's not what he's saying.
He's getting them drawn out like that. I'm not having a problem getting them to draw out the frames. They do that pretty quick.
Do we put our hives up on 4x4 platforms? Are we talking pallets or hive stands? You have to go to Bohemia Bees there, and Jason has got a video on how he set it up.
I'll have to go look at that.
Well, the internet, yeah, and what Brent's saying there.
Why don't you come on in, Jason?
Like, I'm just going by the internet. It's like you want half a cup of bees in a nuke.
The frustrating part for me is that I didn't have any of these problems last year. They worked fine. And I'm not doing anything different this year, and all of a sudden I'm getting all these just leaving. And the queen's getting mated. Like they're leaving with cat brood. It's weird. Like just leaving just a little bit before I'm going to go harvest her. Almost
Can
right.
you
before.
put a double story on it? Have you I bought a bunch of
Some of
those
them I
Chinese
can,
double
but
story
some of them I
units.
can't.
Well,
The ones that are four.
if she lays it up, is she running out of room and then they want to leave?
I thought that might have been a problem, but in some of them they hadn't even gotten that last frame. So I start them with 3 frames and a feeder, and then I pull the feeder out and add 2 more frames in, and they're absconding. That last frame's not even finished being drawn out. So I feel like they still have room to grow a little bit. They pretty much, most of them were leaving. They got 4 frames drawn. The 5th one's not quite drawn, and there'll be 3 frames of brood, or 2.5.
Yeah, there's your link there for his video.
Well, my next move, and it's you take it for what it's worth because it's not worth anything. I'm gonna jam my boxes inside of proper equipment, so it's like however many boxes I can can I fit 4? I probably can't fit 4. It might be able to jam 3 in a box, 2 out one way, 1 out the other. Put it on the bottom board, put a piece of whatever on top, and just see what happens. And it's like maybe that extra bit of insulation would
You
solve
think
it.
they're getting chilled? So you're
Well,
getting dead bees?
for me, it's they're getting chilled.
Okay.
Like it's been really we haven't had 10 Celsius at night yet. Like what's 10 Celsius at night for you guys? It's like 50. Yeah, we haven't even had a 50-degree night yet.
Well, I mean, I had some go through freezing weather that were still there and fine. I think you should put a little bit more bees in what you're putting in there. They'll be able to keep warm a little bit better too.
No, the ones I put a lot of bees in, all the bees just fucked off. Like, fuck this noise. There's a perfectly good hive over here I'm going to go hang out with. These girls seem nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who knows? That's bees are bees. They come up with some crazy ideas.
Yeah, they're going to do what they want to do. The
But
only
any
thing we can do
full-size
is guide them.
But any full size equipment I put a cell in, it's like almost 100%. It's like I was going through my out yard today, and I got 4 hives out there that one was a drone layer, and the other 3 were just like brand new hives that I pulled a couple frames and jammed them in, and I went through it, and it's like I wasn't sure that they had I didn't find the queen, didn't see any eggs. It was still a little bit early, so I just was thinking, well, I'm gonna give them another cell. And then so as this is the yard where my queen maker is, so I did the queen maker thing. So it's like an hour later I go back through them. I go, okay, I got all kinds of wonderful cells to give these hives. And it's like, well, the first one I went through, it's like I gave that one a cell. The second one, I was like, oh, there's a fucking queen. Okay, all right.
Norman, watch your mouth.
Sorry. And it was, but yeah, by the time it was all said and done, it's like 50% of them had a queen in them. It was just too soon. So.
Well, guys, it's 10 o'clock. I'm going to go ahead and shut the chat down, and appreciate everybody coming in on the chat, and had a good talk about queens and all the different types of hives and stuff. So and Joey, you're not going to be on tomorrow night.
That's correct. Not going to be on tomorrow night. Tom is not sure if him and Melissa can do it or not. They'll know more tomorrow.
All right. Well, we'll look out for that. And then we'll be back on Monday nights, Bill.
Yeah.
All right. Bees all day. We'll be back on Monday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard, and back on the schedule and everything. So we'll see y'all later.